Hillary on Bengahzi. Softball questions, deceptive answers. In that whole Senate hearing, the word video, the word film, the word cover-up was never mentioned by anybody. Most of the Republicans gave total softball questions. The only ones that were really aggressive were John McCain, who really is the hero of the hearing, Flake, Robert Johnson, and of course Rand Paul. In the House, they did a little better. By the time they got to Dana Rohrabacher of California, he overtly mentioned the video and talked about it. Let's understand something that, in case we're forgetting. The reason that Benghazi is still important now as a political issue is that the President of the United States was reelected in part because of a deliberate cover-up of an attack upon American diplomats that killed 4 people. And the word is cover-up. Immediately after the attack, Obama said, and all the other White House people reinforced, that this was an attack based on being incited to anger by a film. In his statement at the Rose Garden the day after the attack, Obama said that much as we deplore putting down of prophets of other religions, this cannot condone violence. And then later, about 2/3 of the way down his statement, he said, we never condone acts of terror. But it was clearly blaming this attack on the video, whereas in fact it was done because it was the anniversary of 9/11. Why do you think it took place, Madam Secretary? Obviously, they were there because it was 9/11, and the attacks took place. Now, Admiral Mullins and others say it's not feasible for the Defense Department to be on year-round alert. Well, how about 9/11, guys, in the Middle East? That attack lasted for 7 hours. Do you mean to say with drones and supersonic bombers and fighters, we do not have the capability of at least an aerial intervention over a 7-hour attack, not in the South Pole, but right near the Mediterranean Sea? That's ridiculous. And McCain really explained it and really was forceful on it because he's the only one that really knows what he's talking about defense issues on that committee, and that counts the witness in front of the committee, Mrs. Clinton. So the point is that her testimony was evasive, and the senators let her get away with it. Now let's focus on her testimony itself. She said she was not involved in formulating the talking points. Okay, the Secretary of State, the top foreign policy advisor to the president, is commenting on one of the most important foreign policy crises in the president's term, and she's not involved in formulating the response or in talking about what you tell the media. That's either totally untrue, or it's because she was hiding under a desk and trying not to be involved. She said she wasn't asked about the security issues when the Accountability Review Board people came by. And she said, that's because I didn't know anything about the security issues. Well, the Secretary of State has to know about the security in an embassy, particularly an embassy that is as much at risk as that embassy was. And if she doesn't, it's really a willful failure. And let's get to the point of why we didn't have adequate military security. It's got nothing to do with a lack of money. It was the president's desire to have a light footprint in Libya, so we wouldn't offend the Arab world by thinking we were occupying Libya. So we wouldn't pretend that our intervention in Libya, that was supposedly arm's length and impartial and based on a UN resolution, was really to conquer Libya. And we didn't want to appear to be an army of conquest with a strong on-the-ground presence. Political correctness is why we did not have adequate security for that mission. Now, was she aware of the security situation after 20 previous attacks? This is the greatest line of the hearing. I was aware of those that were brought to my attention. Duh. But, I mean, a complete obfuscation designed to skirt perjury. Why did she not ask the people that were on the ground? Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin was terrific in saying one 5-minute phone call would have told you whether this was a demonstration or an attack. And her claim that she didn't ask them because she didn't want to get into before there was an impartial investigation and didn't want it to be seen as a cover-up, or that she was giving them talking points, that's absolute nonsense. When something like this happens, you get the facts. She knew the facts. She even said that it was by militants on our compound the day after. She was willfully ignoring it and letting Obama go out and pretend with Susan Rice that this was some kind of demonstration gone bad, so that he would not have to answer the central question, which is, if you said Al-Qaeda died with bin Laden, what's it doing attacking us on 9/11 in Libya? And then the further question that we ask ourselves now, which is, did we just re-elect a president of the United States based on a lie? Now, tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about Hillary and what we can learn from her performance at the hearing, because it's a fascinating exercise in really getting to see the Hillary Clinton that I've always known.